Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we'll be talking about how I was able to save thousands of dollars for my wedding. So just to go over the details, I got married back in June, so June 30th of 2018, and I spent around $27,000 for a wedding. And that's pretty average, but to be honest, for what we had, that's pretty cheap. Just wanted to go over with you guys, share some tips and tricks on how I was able to save money, where I saved the most money, and how to just have a wedding that doesn't break the bank. So let's get started. So the first tip that I have is to make sure that you plan, and that is planning a budget, research, make sure that you are making a list of what's important to you. So if you really feel like, the most important thing during your wedding is your wedding cake and you want to spend the most money on that, then you just kind of say, okay, well, this is the most important thing, and then everything else we can kind of compromise on. And so that's what we did. We made sure that we made a list of the most important things, and then everything else we can kind of see where we can, I don't want to say cut corners, but see where we can get it for a little bit cheaper. Number two is location. So we are from New York, but we had our wedding out in Pennsylvania in a small town called Kutztown. And I've never heard of it, but when you go out like on the outskirts of the city, you can probably find better deals. And so that's what we did. We had about 100 guests. Our venue, wasn't that expensive. We had a barn wedding, and we were able to rent out the entire weekend for just over $5,000, which was awesome. Now, 100 guests doesn't really sound like a small wedding, but once you start making the guest list, you can see how out of control that can get really, really fast. And so we really try to cut, no kids, things like that. And it went over 100 people. And then we tried to make sure it was like no coworkers or anyone that didn't know both of us. That's where your biggest money saver is going to be. If you invite 300 people, you're going to have to pay per plate, party favors, things like that, and that's where the money could really run up. So the third thing that we did that saved us a lot of money was we hired family and friends. And now this is where we save the most money, because it just so happened that we had a lot of family and friends that had small businesses that was their career that could help us with our wedding. So for instance, my photographer was a really good friend of mine growing up, and he was phenomenal with the photography. He did charge way less than he should have, and then someone else picked up the tab, so technically he was free. My videographer was my brother, who specializes in videography, so he came with his two friends, and they killed the videography, and it was totally free. Another way that we saved money with family and friends was that one of my bridesmaids, she's a really good baker. She actually works at a lot of high-end restaurants in Manhattan, and so she just charged me for material on my wedding cake, and it came out to less than $100 for a beautiful wedding cake. Also, the woman who did my hair and my makeup, she was a good friend of mine as well, and she charged me dirt cheap for hair and makeup. So if you have someone that can do hair and makeup, that's another spot where you can save a lot of money. And the DJ. So it just so happens that the guy at my church, he works for a DJ company, and he's a really good friend of ours. So we rented all the equipment, and it cost about, I want to say a little less than $500 for the outdoor portion and the indoor portion, and he did it for free. So we just made a playlist, he played the playlist, and that was it. So the fourth thing that we did to save a lot of money was buying our flowers from Costco. Now, this one was really risky because I wasn't sure, but I was looking online and I seen that a woman bought her flowers from Costco. And I thought to myself, well, if I was going to do this, I would save thousands of dollars. But if I do this and it comes out wrong, I'm going to lose out on thousands of dollars. But for what I wanted, that would cost about anywhere from $7,000 to $10,000 because I had so many tables lined up. And so when I looked at the material, it was only $1,200. And so I said, you know what? Let's just do it. And I ended up buying the flowers. It was beautiful. I actually ordered too many. So I did the greenery runners. I took the baby breath and I did it, and I made some centerpieces for outside. I was able to decorate the entire place with just those flowers, and I only spent $1,200. So take the plunge. If you can try to do your own flowers or just do no flowers at all, that's where you're gonna save a lot of money. So the fifth thing that I did that I never mentioned to anyone was I bought my wedding dress secondhand. And I know that sounds kind of crazy, but the story behind it, long story short, was that when I found the wedding dress, it was too close to the date to get tailored. And so I decided I was just gonna go online and buy a smaller size and then just lose weight to fit into it. And I just so happened to come across a website. I think it's called useweddingdresses.com. I'll have everything linked down below to make sure. And there was a woman who was selling the same exact wedding dress for half the price, and she was my same size and she already had it tailored. And I thought to myself, this is definitely a gift from God. And I looked up the reviews. I was like, you know what? I personally am only gonna wear my wedding dress one time. She only wore it one time, so it's practically new. And I didn't tell anyone. I was like, let me just take the risk quietly. So I ended up buying the wedding dress for $550, and then I got it tailored just a little bit around the top area for less than $200, and I got it cleaned professionally. So I got my wedding dress for more than 50% off. And I would definitely recommend the website that I used to save all of that money. The seventh thing that we did to save a lot of money was that we didn't have any alcohol at our wedding. Now, this was also because we're Christians and we don't drink. That's a personal preference. I know some people say that they drink wine or whatever the case is. My husband and I don't drink. And so we didn't have any alcohol at our wedding, and so we saved thousands of dollars on that as well. What we did for our wedding that saved us a lot of money was that we made all of our own invitations from like Vistaprint and all these websites that I think we spent less than $100 on. Save the dates, actual invitations, and the thank you cards. So look around, get crafty, look up YouTube videos on how to make things, and it was such an awesome time. So those are the tips and tricks that we did for our wedding to save thousands of dollars. I just want to know, what did you guys do for your wedding that you saved thousands of dollars? Or what are you planning to do for your wedding? Are you trying to do your own hair and makeup? Do you feel like you can bake your own cake? Do you feel like, you know, you're going to make your own wedding dress or have a very untraditional wedding dress where it's very plain and you can save money there? Just start, I want to know your tips and tricks. I want to know where we can cut corners. It is right after the holidays, so many people got engaged, and I'm sure that they can really benefit from what you have. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.